Sadio Mane to Bayern Munich. The end of a mistake. There were some friendly hugs, but no tears as Sadio Mane left Bayern Munich's Asian tour for Saudi Arabia. Everyone involved is relieved that the end to the blunder finally came earlier this week. The German champions believe they committed a real robbery when they signed the Senegal international from Liverpool for €35 million, £30.1 million, $38.2 million last summer. However, at the end of a disappointing first season, they became desperate to offload a striker. Mane and Bayern were not active at any level. As is often the case in these surveys, luck, or rather bad luck, should not be underestimated. Remember, Mane lived well in the Bundesliga. Playing mainly as a right forward in Julian Nagelsmann's 4-2-2-2 system, he had scored 11 goals by the end of October in all competitions and could almost double that number on successful offside. Then he got hurt. A knee problem kept him out of the World Cup until the end of February. He never returned to his spring form, scoring just once in 15 matches, and was given a one-match ban for slapping Sane in the dressing room after Bayern lost 3-0 to Man City. Bayern's problems behind the scenes and on the field are also not conducive to a successful season for the new deal. Like most of the other players in the squad, Mane struggled to match his usual form during a turbulent season when Nagelsmann was sacked and Thomas Tuchel took over in March. Bayern Munich's ambitious and idealistic plan this season to replace their main goalscorer Robert Lewandowski with a group of mixed attacking players has failed spectacularly. Adding another winger to a team that already has a reasonable winger ratio is designed to increase competition for starting spots. But instead of motivating everyone, offering lots of comparisons and constant change creates uncertainty. Leroy Sane, Serge Gnabry, Kingsley Coman and even youngster Jamal Musiala are all below their best. Things got worse when veteran defender Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting was sidelined with a knee injury. Mane's cool performance after returning from injury did little to mitigate the troubles that lay ahead, but he was as much a victim of circumstance as those around him. And it's not that bad. His offensive stats for the season still look pretty respectable, though his dribbling volume and high execution have masked a very high average success rate in overrunning past opponents. His passing isn't pretty, and his defensive impact is minimal either, especially for a player known for his hard work on the ball. However, the club's officials were generally disappointed, who spoke at length to The Athletic on condition of anonymity to protect relations. While some concern note that there have been some ups and downs during his final season at Liverpool, they expect the seasoned and mobile professional to make a lasting impact, a long-term and positive impact on the team. In June 2023, sporting director Hassan Salihamidzic described Mane as a psychological monster, and CEO Oliver Kahn praised him as a great player who calls him raising the qualities of others. Both were sacked at the end of the season, just a minute after Bayern Munich surprisingly won the title. The exact reason why Mane failed to display his impressive quality on a more regular basis remains unclear. Mysterious to those who saw it up close. One source familiar with the matter suggested the upset was primarily tactical in nature, as Mane rarely played in his favored position on the left flank and often found himself in crowded and unusable spots. His signature dynamic play on substitution. The argument against that is that he played well in midfield under Jurgen Klopp in 2021-22. Liverpool have of course been used to penetrating deeper defenses over the years, so playing in a team that controls the ball cannot shock such a system. Perhaps his inability to settle down has to do with his place in the dressing room hierarchy. The players and club staff quickly found that Mane was a rather sensitive player, and he grew thanks to the coach's praise and the confidence of his teammates. They tried to help him withdraw by letting him carry out the punishments. However, neither Nagelsmann nor Tuchel could unconditionally support Mane. There is simply too much competition for it. His form, not only in matches but also in training, dropped significantly during the season. He may have been a more sympathetic kind of managing man he's seen at home than on Sabine or Strass, but by the time of the sparring with Sane in April, he had created a somewhat aloof figure in the dressing room. His teammates understood his frustration and felt he lacked confidence. But they don't think his performance needs special treatment. In the end, there is no point in blaming either party for the failure of communication. The worst misfortune for Bayern and Mane is falling into their worst season together in more